Berlin at the World Indoor Tour. Looked good in the opening heats and then dropped another couple hundredths in his final, ran 6.51. This is shaping up to be pretty interesting, just in terms of the indoor season, because I would imagine he's going to run World Indoors. I don't know if I should assume that. We know Coleman's going to run World Indoors. So we have two guys who are really motivated, I think, for indoor season. I think Jacobs is motivated because I think he's tired of people implying or saying that he was somewhat a fluke outdoors. And obviously, Christian Coleman is motivated because he was suspended and couldn't run at the Olympics next year. What is your current assessment of Coleman v. Jacobs right now in the 60?
Well, my current assessment is Coleman is going to beat him. I don't see a situation right now where Jacobs is the favorite. And I do appreciate the scenario that we have here where, Jacobs is going to have a little bit of a what's on your shoulder, chip on your shoulder,
Chip.
right? Because no one's going to believe him, right? And I'm not going to lie, this 651 kind of adds to that non-belief. I know it's only 0.02 off of Coleman, but I just feel like he should have ran in the 640s to be like,
Oh,
I'm ready to go. I don't know.
It's an opener. It's an opener. I was impressed.
I know it's an
He
opener, but Coleman opened
he ran.
after 2 years off with a 649. He's running 651, which is like a good college time.
Listen,
I mean, let's be
he
honest.
ran. He ran well enough here for me to wonder, hey, why didn't you run post Olympics? You could have made a lot of money for appearance fees. Uh, he's good at the 60 indoors, right? He's run 647 uh, at the Euro Indoor Championships. I think I'm more optimistic. If I was him, I'm happy about this one. I think this exceeded what I thought. Now, you had him at a 652. It's on your whiteboard.
Yeah.
You predicted 652. So I get it, but I also there it is. It's on the board. Having someone debut sub 640, that's really tough. I think Coleman can go to a place that Jacobs can't in terms of time. He's a world record holder, got a lot of the all-time marks. So I still think Coleman has the advantage, but I think it's going to be a good race. And I just like the fact that we have two guys that are motivated highly to win World Indoors, because oftentimes we see people not motivated to run World Indoors or to go for the gold. I think that gold medal would mean something significant to both of them within the context of the last 2 years.
But here's the thing: even if Jacobs won, we're still not going to consider him the favorite in 2022. There's literally nothing Jacobs can do
Hold on.
for him to become the favorite.
I don't know, man. I think if he goes into the 60, which is Coleman's best event based on where he ranks all time, and beats him, I think you got to start asking some questions then about what Jacobs can do. We're a long way from that, but then that means Jacobs won the 100. Yeah, granted without Coleman, but then went and won the 60. He may not be an overwhelming favorite, but you'd have to throw him in the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about favorite. Yes, he'll be in the conversation, but my thing is, there's nothing he can do that would consider him the favorite. It's kind of like it doesn't matter how many games Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell win in the regular season for the Utah Jazz. They're not going to become the favorites because there's a LeBron James waiting, a Phoenix Suns that's better, a Giannis on Milwaukee. People are just putting an asterisk right now on that Olympic run. I don't know. And I think it's because he hasn't backed it up with multiple repeat performances. It feels like an outlier. It's crazy to call the Olympic final an outlier, but when you look at his season, it is an outlier. That one race is the biggest outlier of his entire season. So you're not going to let a 60-meter win in Belgrade, Serbia, trump that outlier. It's not going to happen.
But I think that would be the kind of support that you'd need to see. Him beating Coleman, and if Baker's there too for the US, and if Su Bingtian is there as well, you have 3 of the best 60-meter guys in history. If he beats that field, I think you're downplaying the impact of what that would mean. Yeah, it's indoors, but you're going into Coleman's backyard when you're going into the 60. Coleman owns a 60 if you look at it all time.
But
I
okay, are you
mean,
telling me if
I'm
we
saying if
go
he
to the 60?
wins,
Okay, no, if he wins, say he runs 6:48 and Coleman runs 6:49.
yeah,
Are we going to all of a sudden say Jacobs running 6:48 in March is like, whoa? No, you're going to be like, all right, a slow race. If he runs 6:3 or 6 like 4 low, maybe.
I,
But
but I
like
think that's
if
what
he
it would
runs
take.
6:4 high and wins, I'm not gonna take it as enough.
But I think that's
Because
implied,
it's also
man.
a
I think
60.
you think 6'4" high is going to win. I don't think there's any way 6'4" high wins at World Indoors. I just don't see it.
Crazy things happen, man.
That is true. I'm not disputing that
Six
crazy
four
things have
high,
happened.
6'4" high won against Bromell and Baker. Like that was a stacked field.
That was the opener. He's going to do a
I
couple
know.
more races until unless the Belgrade track is made of quicksand. I don't
Uphill.
think they're going to be. Yeah, it's uphill and it's grass. I don't think they're going to run 6'4" high. I think in order to beat him, he would run a PR. So he'd run low 6'4s, I would guess, or even high 6'3s. And then again, he'd be beating Coleman in his best event. That's what I'm saying. A lot has to happen for it to go the way of Jacobs. I'm just saying if all that stuff happens, then I think we have a much more competitive 100 than we assumed. I'm not picking that now. I'm with you. I mean, I think the 651 was great, and I think it's going to be a fun couple months now, or a month, I guess, until we have World Indoors, 6 weeks maybe. But I just think the conversation is interesting. Coleman is Coleman is really good at this event, and you're going to bring back the entire podium from 2018, presumably, if Baker's able to make the U.S. team. As I mentioned, Bingtian's really good in the 60. So it's just I like to highlight the races that are going to mean something at World Indoors because there's going to be plenty of them where you're like, really, they won a gold medal? That was kind of surprising. Or we can take this result and throw it in the trash. I think the 60, if all these guys line up, is going to be one to watch. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, when you see Richard Kilty won it in 6:49 3 world championships ago, no one was
Okay.
putting Kilty on the pedestal. I guess you're
Sure.
saying
But
it's because he's
Christian
beating
Coleman won it.
Coleman head up. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coleman won it. Bromell won it. Yes, Kilty won it. What? That's
And
Gatlin won
Gatlin
it.
won.
And
Yeah.
what year is that? Is that 12 or 14?
That's 12.
Gatlin won
Yeah.
it.
12.
That's 12. Chambers was solid. Yeah, I'm not saying every year, but I'm saying this year, this is where it's aligning. Beating Coleman in the 60 is like beating Grant Holloway in the 60 hurdles. I think if you do it, it's significant because of how good that they've been in that event. I mean, we saw with
I don't know
Holloway,
though.
you were
We're,
super
you're
confident.
beating you're beating a Coleman coming off of 2 years of no races. So like I kind of think Coleman has a lot of more vulnerabilities than he would have had and like a
You think that
fully
still
in
matters?
his I do think it matters. I think you're not beating a full on Coleman. I think Coleman has an asterisk to his name right now.
How many
Not
races does
that
Coleman
type
need
of
to
but
do? I know. How many races does Coleman need to do before you're like, all right, the rust is off?
I
Because
mean
everybody
by the
else came
summer.
off an off season.
By the
The
summer.
summer,
By
you
the
think
summer.
he's got to race for 3 months to get the rust off? No, man. I think the
Yeah.
rust is gone. I think the rust is gone pretty much. I think
No.
everybody had the winter off. Jacobs didn't even run post Olympics. Now that was his choice not to do it, but he ran that meet at Kentucky. He ran a 60. I think he's good to go at this point. I think whether or not he ran last summer is it gets less and less relevant as we get closer and closer to World Indoor
I
Championships.
think
And
it's
by the
relevant
time we get
still.
there, I think it's game on once we get to World Indoors. I think a win is a win. I mean, how much did Grant run between the Olympics and New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. Not a ton. And you were confident in him. You're like, he's going to blow everybody out. And you were right. It just shows you how good Holloway and Coleman are.